Hello, my name is Marcus Marino, and today I'm going to teach you how to do tre flips. The thing that you need to know before you start trying to do tre flips is that you should have a pretty decent kick flip and a pretty decent pop shove it. I mean, you don't have to be great at either, and you don't have to know how to do 3 shoves, because I can barely 3 shove myself, but you should at least have a pretty good kick flip and a pretty good pop shove it. Alright, so the first thing that you need to worry about whenever you're starting to learn how to do tre flips is the way that you set up. A lot of different people will set up a lot of different ways, so I'll just show you a couple different ways people have been able to set up. Alright, well, I first started learning how to do tre flips when I was about 14 years old, maybe 15, and I started off doing them in my grass out front of my house. And so it's actually weird how I kind of started off, because when most people start off tre flips, at least from what I've seen, they start off with their feet really close like this and their toe like all the way up here, because that really helps that board get around. But well, I had my varial kick flips down pretty good, and I had my kick flips and my pop shove-its down pretty well. So I was like, hey, one day I just kind of like looked at my board and I was like, I'm just gonna try to start learning tre flips. And so I set up my feet kind of like, well, yeah, more like that when I first started doing tre flips. And they were really ugly because I had no sense of scoop, which we'll talk about in a minute. And I just kind of like used my front foot to guide the board around. So I would try to just varial kick flip and push the board with my front foot. And I had tre flips for a little while. I had them, but they weren't anything pretty. Alright, so my recommended setup for a tre flip is just about right here-ish, maybe a little bit further up. But what I do is, when you pay attention to my back foot, my toes on my back foot are hanging off, right? So that means that the ball of my foot is right there in that pocket. So when I pop the board, right, they're already in that pocket. So with my front foot, I put it at this like 45-degree angle, so it's kind of pointing, like my pinky toe is pretty much pointing at this front bolt right there. And well, I lean all my weight, or most of my weight, about 80% of my weight, onto my front foot, and I put that back foot in the pocket, and I'm just kind of on the balls of my feet. And so since this foot right here in the front is juxtaposed compared to my back foot, so all my weight's on this one, whenever I pop and scoop the trick, which is a big part of tre flips because it's all in the back foot. This back foot right here, it's all on the back foot. So since you're leaning on your front foot, as soon as you pop and scoop, which you should have from your pop shove-its, the board should automatically kind of flick, because since your weight's here and you're jumping, all your weight's automatically going to push down. So it's going to flick. But you just want to make sure that you have this foot in this back pocket right here with your weight in it. So whenever you do pop and scoop, it's going to kind of like bring it, well, to like this little angle right here. And since, you know, your weight is pushing the opposite direction with your front foot, it's going to make it flip. Just remember all that. The most important thing is that you need to remember is that this trick is going to take some time, and make sure that you're putting all your weight into that back foot, because if you're not, then it's really not going to come around like a tre flip. It's just going to under rotate, it's going to over flick, or it's just going to be ugly as hell because you're pushing it around with your front foot. But yeah, make sure that you're scooping with your back foot and putting your weight onto your front foot and pretty much leaning into the trick. Another important thing is to make sure you keep your shoulders square, otherwise you'll be doing big flips, or just you'll get used to whipping your body. So make sure your shoulders are square above the board.